I want to challenge you on this by saying that if you were done in just a couple minutes doing this, then you're doing yourself a disservice. If you've never done, unless you've already done it, now you're just writing down what you've done before. My guess is, because I asked that question to begin with, only a few of you have actually done a personal mission statement, and my guess is that if you're done within a few minutes, then you really didn't put the thought into it for yourself. Okay, because it takes time to think about how you want to portray yourself. One person asked, I'm having a tough time finding people, but he was only thinking about right now. Okay, I don't want you to think about right now. I want you to think about 10 years from now or 20 years from now. So I challenge you then to do this at night, to do this later on tonight, to do this on the weekend when you've got some time to yourself. The number one problem with your generation is there are too many distractions going on. I'm just going to throw that. You may agree or disagree, I don't care. I'm telling you, you have too many distractions. There are too many things pulling at you for time. Some of them are required, school, okay? Maybe parents asking you to help out around the house. Maybe parents needing you to work to help support the family. That's a good possibility too, okay? But you have too many distractions. Most of them are self-imposed. Xbox, Twitter, texting, whatever that may be. Okay, take it for what it is. But please stop all of those distractions to do yourself a favor, and that is to sit down and spend some time doing this. Okay. When you finish this, and when you come back to it later on, I also invite you to look at it a week from the time that you finish it and see if that makes sense. Okay? What is the next logical progression from doing this after you do this? What's the next logical progression? After you do this and you define what you want to be said about you 10 years from now or 20 years from now, or hopefully 70 years from now when you pass away, what is the next logical progression? Michael? Okay. Michael said start taking steps to achieve that level of whatever you wanted to say about you. Okay? There may be an interim. What were you going to say?
That's pretty much what I was going to say.
Okay? There may be an interim step there, and that is further define it. Okay, so if you want them to say that you're, well, does anyone feel comfortable sharing any of them? Go ahead, MacGyver.
Are we talking about our life statement?
Just give me one aspect of it. One person that's going to talk at your funeral and what you want them to say about you.
Well, I'd hopefully have my spouse speak there. I want to be known for my happiness, I guess. Is a carefree attitude, I guess, and playfulness in my heart. Okay, so your spouse would be talking about that? Okay, that's good. All right, so if your goal is to have and your spouse is going to know that better than anybody, right? Which is probably why you picked that person to do it. So if your goal or objective is to be a happy person, okay? That's pretty broad, very, very important. It's pretty broad. That might be tough to define the interim steps to do that, and maybe the rest of those goals support that, right? For example, if your objective is to have a career that is fulfilling, that you don't, someone said that earlier, have a career that's fulfilling that you don't hate going to every day, but you don't achieve that goal, you're not going to be happy. And your spouse isn't going to be happy, your kids aren't going to be happy because you're going to be grouchy all the time, right? For one reason or the other. So, anyone feel like sharing another one? We can talk about it. No? Okay. Let me use one from mine, because I'm old enough that I don't get embarrassed anymore. How about, well, we use one from the past, soldiers, okay? One of my mission statements before was to do everything within my power to make sure that those guys are ready to do their job in combat, okay? Because that's the ultimate test of whether or not I've done my job. And so
That was actually the mission statement. Everything I can possibly do within my power to be able to get them prepared to go off to combat. So there were interim steps in all of that. One of them, as an officer, I had to become technically and tactically proficient in my job. I was as good as anyone that I served with, but I could have gotten better, right? And so my answer was, okay, I'm going to go to this school, or I'm going to go, I don't even remember what it was at this time, that was a lot of years ago. Second thing is, I'm going to inspect the heck out of these guys, not exactly those words, I'm going to inspect the heck out of them so that I know where they are. 3, I'm going to work with them, work with my NCOs more than I have been in the past to make sure that they have a good relationship with their soldiers, to make sure that they have a good understanding of what they're capable of and what they're not capable of, making them follow through on their jobs. So those were very, very specific things that I had to do to accomplish my goal. And the goal was to have one of my soldiers come back and say, hey, Captain Feast saved my butt by training me properly, and I was able to do my job. Okay? That's just one example. But they were very, very specific things. And you get more specific and set timelines as you go forward. But we'll talk about putting first things first in the next chapter. But it's absolutely critical that at the very least, and I don't want a perfectly grammatically correct personal mission statement. I want you to define it in your own head. Okay? Define it in your own head and write it down. Why do I want you to write it down, Gabe? I'm sorry, I can't hear.
See what your goal is right there in front of you.
Okay? See what your goal is, and what was that last part?
It's right in front of you.
So you write it down so you can come back to it. See what your goals are so you can come back to them, and there's another step in there. Yes?
Like if you have to make some kind of changes to it as you kind of progress in life.
So maybe you want to make changes to it and keep it current, but there's another step. If I just go back to it and look at it,
Follow up on it and do something.
one at a time, let somebody else participate. If I just go back and look at it, what am I going to do? I may do. I want to do, and you need to tell yourself you're going to do this. If this is where I want to go, I look at this personal mission statement. What do I accomplish? Measure yourself. How am I on the right track? Have I, you know, and it can't be broad, it can't be general. I want to be a happy person. Okay, that's good. What are the steps? And then you measure yourself against those steps. Have I done anything? Okay, so maybe Frank, you were talking about, I want to have a job that's going to make me a lot of money. Okay, I want you to rethink that, because, you know, I know a lot of priests that are extremely happy, that are overjoyed with their jobs, but don't make a lot of money, right? So is the ultimate goal to make a lot of money? And I know a lot of people who, I know one in particular I'm thinking of right now, who makes a ton of money, but hates his life, okay? Because he's frustrated. He's got all this pressure going on. And you probably know people like that yourselves. So further, I would suggest you further define that. All right. One of the assignments that's in the book is to do this great discovery. One of the assignments on OneNote is to do this great discovery. Here in class, I want you to get together with someone, one other person or 2 other people, that's fine. And I want a minimum of 2 people together, but I want you to kind of ask each other those questions. And you don't necessarily have to share everything. Ideally, it's someone you trust and you don't mind sharing this information with, but I want you to go through this exercise. The answers you get out of this will be partial answers that you put in OneNote, which is an assignment, okay? The assignment is due, I think, Thursday. Take a look at OneNote to determine when it's due. But the assignment is to actually write down those areas in that section called the Great Discovery. Write down the answers to those. So get together very quickly. Those of you who are remote students, get together with someone else and go through this and write them down. They are individual answers, not group answers, but I want you to probe each other and ask each other these questions. Okay, any questions about how to do this? Go ahead and shut off the video, please.